Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Tyler with Up North Aperture, a real estate media company, and in today's video we're going to be talking about decluttering and depersonalizing your home, which is step number 1 in our series, how to prepare your home for photographs when you're selling. Where our goal is to help homeowners prepare their home with whatever means they have necessary when they're selling to make sure that they get the most showings and the most offers available to them. So with that, let's dive right in. So you've decided to sell your home, that's awesome, but you're maybe a little stuck on where to start. A great first place to start, which is the purpose of this whole video in itself, which is depersonalizing and then decluttering your home. Whenever I talk to somebody about this subject, I like to tell them, take the home out of the house, which can feel a little harsh, but the ultimate goal of what you're trying to do is attract a home buyer that is going to want to build their own memories in that house. So if you've got your own personal memories up everywhere all over the place, it's kind of hard for a lot of people to see past that. So you're going to initially want to go through and remove all your personal items, all your little collectibles, all the things that have maybe a little too much style for the average person. You're going to kind of almost want to gear your home more towards a parade of homes or like a model home, which can feel a little boring, especially if you've got some characteristics you love about yourself. You're gonna have to dial those back, and I can appreciate that. But to start, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna need to get either some bins or some boxes. I personally recommend some quality Rubbermaid bins, because especially if you're putting family photos and personal items in there that mean something, have some emotional weight, you're really going to want to make sure those are protected well, and a cardboard box could seep some water into it, where a plastic tote is going to keep everything mostly dry, except for if you're in a tsunami or some crazy thing. With that, because you're going to be putting potentially breakable things in there, you're going to want to either get some newspaper or just something to cushion some of the more breakable items. You don't want to have to go through all this process and then get to wherever you're going, go to unload everything and find out that half your picture frames are broken. So just something to keep in mind. Another tip here before we get started is this can be a very emotional step for some people. This might be the first home that you ever purchased. This might be where you brought your child into the world and raised your first kid. This could be any number of things. This could have a huge emotional weight if you're getting rid of this home. And so if you're feeling that way, I encourage you to embrace that feeling. Go through the house, maybe a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and really just take in the memories. Take some photos of the house as you remember it. It's going to be something that might be challenging for you to go through, but just really embrace an afternoon of just doing this, especially if you're feeling emotional. Now you can easily go through and just throw everything into bins if you've moved a lot, but just for the person that is feeling emotional, take your time going through this step. So there's really not a lot to these two steps within this part. The first thing you're going to want to do is depersonalize, and it's pretty straightforward. First, you're going to want to go through each room, and any personal photos you have of you or family or friends or anything like that, you're going to want to just get rid of those, put those in a bin, and either store them in the garage or in a storage room or something, get them out of sight. Because primarily, again, you're trying to have somebody build their own memories here. So if they're seeing photos of you and their family, they're not necessarily thinking about how they can build their own memories. They're now looking at your memories, which could be great memories. But the goal here is to make it feel like it's a space that somebody else could potentially live in and maybe bring a first child into or grow old together, or whatever the purpose of the house is for this next person. You want to kind of neutralize it as a whole. So first step, go through each room and take down all the personal photos. Step number 2 in this process is going to be going through and looking for anything that maybe stands out as quirky. You might have a super unique style that's awesome and you might love, and it could be great talking pieces to when you have company over, but you're going to want to, again, get rid of all that stuff. If you've got a wall of collectibles and you've got a whole bunch of Harry Potter action figures, which I would love to discuss, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but if you want to go through and just take down that kind of stuff, you want to make each space feel somewhat like it's the space it's intended for. You want a kitchen to feel like a kitchen. You want a home office to feel like a home office. You don't want it to feel like it's your space. You want it to feel like it's somebody else's space to create and do with what they're doing. Now, you don't want to completely neutralize it with white walls and boringness. You still need a little bit of life there, because people need to be able to see it creatively. But if you can get rid of your style and your personality and just make it kind of a neutral earth tone feel, that's going to be what you're wanting to go for. So now that we're kind of transitioning from depersonalizing to decluttering, we're going to talk about the fridge to start. oftentimes that's full of memories and it's often overlooked. Remove all of the magnets and things from the fridge if possible. Get rid of any pictures or any postcards that you might have on there. And speaking of clutter, it makes the kitchen look so much cleaner if the fridge door is empty. When I'm talking to customers about decluttering their home, what I like to tell them is 30 to 50% of stuff that you've just got lying out should probably be put in bins or baskets. A lot of them are not used on a day-to-day basis. So unless you're planning on using some of these items in the next 2 to 4 weeks or whenever you're planning on listing your home, just get rid of them now. Obviously, you don't want to get rid of items that you use on a daily or even weekly basis yet. We'll talk more about that in step 3, which is staging. But right now, just go through each room again and find, okay, does this, number one, add to the function of the room? Does it make it feel like a home office, or is it just something I've added because of my own style that I like? Number 2 is, does it add clutter? A couple things on a shelf or a counter is great, but if you can't even see the surface, you've probably got too much stuff on the counter for a generic space feel. So there are a couple of instances where you might have something up during showings that you won't have up during taking the photographs. And the main thing I'm thinking of here is holiday decorations. If you've got holiday decorations up, take those down until after the photo shoot. You might be thinking to yourself, well, that would look great if you're having a showing during the Thanksgiving season. I want it to feel fall-like with those colors. That's great. And I think you should, if you're having a showing during that time of year, put those decorations back up. However, if you take a photo a week before Thanksgiving of your home and then you're still listing it in Christmas, obviously we all like to think our home is going to sell in the first week, but that's not always the case. So if you still have Thanksgiving photos and decorations up during your listing, which is live the week of Christmas or into January, it's going to look a little silly, and then everyone's going to know something might be wrong with this home. Why is it not sold yet? So neutralize it completely and take those down. Again, if you're showing the home and it's Thanksgiving time, go ahead and put a few decorations out. And when it comes to personalizing and decluttering a home in general, if you're on the fence about what to do and what not to do, obviously your realtor is a great resource. They see a lot of homes, and I would highly suggest bringing them in, asking them questions. They'll be more than happy to help walk you through this entire process like I'm currently doing. So they're always a good resource to start with. So my last point is, where are you going to put all this stuff? And if you're like me and you don't have a very big space, a garage is a great spot to start. If you've got a garage that you can put stuff in, put stuff there. It's generally not photographed unless it's a beautiful garage and it's specifically requested. Otherwise, that's a great place to store stuff. If you don't have a garage or that's not an option, a storage room is another great option, or a large closet. Just try and keep them out of the way. If those 2 things are not options, a family or friend is a great person to ask if you can store some stuff there for just like a couple weeks or a month until the house sells. Anyway, that's it for step 1, decluttering and depersonalizing. I know it's going to look great when you're done with this step. It'll feel a little bit empty and a little weird. We'll kind of bring that all around after we get through the staging step, which is step 3. We'll make the home come alive again. So for right now, just focus on decluttering, and we'll bring the house back to life for showings in step 3. So good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.